Hello and welcome back to the Squared Circle with me, David Lorca.
And me, Joe Ordula.
That is right. We are back the morning after the night before the big fight went down. Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. Now listen, just saying it's got me smiling. Just saying it has got me thinking back to what a fight we witnessed, what a night we witnessed with the return of Eubank Sr., to the side of Eubank Jr. It's something that we predicted, something that I said, what I'm saying, on this show, that I can see him not being part of the build-up, but I can see him showing up on the night. And would you look at that? That's exactly what happened. Joe, what's Liverpool to us? Talk to us about how your thoughts were, for the night, how it was watching this fight, how it was sat there, seeing this whole fight card unfold.
I thought it was a fantastic night of boxing, to be honest. Now, I'm a bit envious I didn't go. I had an opportunity to go, and I was like, nah, I can't be able to travel up to North. And now I'm like, man, I should have done it. But look, I thought it was a fantastic night. What a main event as well. Both doing their father's legacies proud, in my opinion. Look, and I really enjoyed the undercard. Look, some of it surprised or win. You had good wins. You had surprising wins. You had fighters that didn't show up at the time. You had everything you wanted to see in boxing. I don't think we didn't get a knockout though. Did we get a knockout in any of the fights? Not one knockout, did we? That's the only disappointing thing in my opinion. But in terms of the quality of boxing, I thought it was really good. But to be honest, the main event really exceeded expectations for me. What did you think of the entire card and the main event?
Nah, the card was a lot of fun. There was some good wins in there. Great win for Vidal Riley. A well thought out battle for Chris Billam-Smith. Anthony Yard coming back from being down on the cards, in my opinion, in his fight with Lyndon Arthur, to win that fight, showing great determination and heart. And in the Liam Smith fight, man, McKenna just showed he's about this life. It was a great fight, but everything was overshadowed by the main event. And that's what we're going to discuss and talk about right now. Not the other fights, which were decent. You see what I'm saying? But nobody sits there and talks about starter. Okay, nobody goes and rates a restaurant and goes, "Oh yeah, the starters were lit," and talks about the starter. We talk about the main course, right? The main course was heavy. The main course lived up to expectation. That jerk chicken, rice, and peas was sensational. That, what I'm saying, it was absolutely mouth-watering. And just Adam Smith, maybe just hearing Adam Smith on the commentary was like, "Hey, here he is! He's arrived! Chris Eubank Jr. He's in the building!" It was that. Listen, honestly, legendary. When I saw my pull out the car in the parking lot, right? It was like something at WWE. It was like something out, what I'm saying? Like, oh my! And you know what's crazy? At that point, that's when I said to myself, "Chris is gonna win this fight." I just literally, I was sat down with my boys here when watching it, and when he pulled out the car, I said, "Yeah. Chris can take it."
I think that was the moment where, like you just said, that was the extremely boost of confidence. That was the extra upon the jab. You know what I mean? That little jab of enthusiasm there. But I felt first when Eubank was there, a senior, it was a goosebumps type of moment. I was gaslit. I think I was on TikTok live at the time as well. And everybody, I had 600 people just going, what, W's, and it was crazy. I feel like a streamer these days, but yeah, but the excitement, the enthusiasm of Eubank Sr coming in, and he owned it as well.
W's in the chat.
Everyone just put W's in. I was like, what's going on? But it was crazy. It's weird anyway. But bro, even the ring walk, that was one of the best ring walks I've ever seen in my entire life by Eubank and Senior and Junior, right? And also, did you see the Ben's reaction on the TV when the Senior arrived? Crazy. They knew, low key, it was a long day from then.
Yeah.
It was a long day from then when the
Yeah.
senior arrived. Honestly, and I'm not even trying to banter. I'm being serious. It was a long day when you knew senior was coming. The amount of confidence in like infusing when your dad is there, like I can see the aura in Eubank Jr. and how confident he was, how much he's like, look, my dad's here, like I can't lose this now. Like you can just tell, he was always going to win that fight from the ring walk, from him being there. And also the expression from Nigel Benn specifically. I know Conor Benn was probably more in game mode, but Nigel kind of knew. And I think Nigel said in one of the post-fight interviews on one of the boxing YouTube channels that when Chris Senior was there, that really made a difference on him performing the night. That changed everything. So I think everyone knew at the time when it happens, like advantage Eubank throughout the whole fight week, everything's gone Conor Benn's way. But when push came to shove, when there was time, the moment Cena came through for his son, man, and that's beautiful, to be honest.
Yeah, it was just it was just a moment made for the ages. It was a moment that was like written in the stars for the fight. Because look, Junior's fighting for a legacy and for a name that was made by his father, and for his father to not be there and to not support him in that, you know, is like it's an aggregating factor for him. It's like, what am I doing this for? There's something that there's a loss of heart when that happens, because this is the cause that you're fighting for, and the person that you're fighting for, and the name that you're fighting for. When you're in a situation or a position where that the person that actually resembles that name, or that represents that name, I should say, says, I don't want you to even be doing this, to the point where I'm not going to support you in doing this, you know, it does reduce your strength to some extent. And obviously we'd never know what would have happened, or what could have happened, or what it would have been like without Senior there. But the truth is, Senior had to be there. He had to be there. He had to be there to for the narrative. He had to be there for the fight to make sense. And he himself knew that he had to be there for his son. And that's the reason why I was like, look, I don't know, you remember when we spoke about it, and I was like, look, I can see Senior not showing up throughout the whole fight weekend, not so on and so forth and that, but on the night, him showing up, because it's his son at the end of the day. Whether he disapproves or he approves or so on and so forth, his son is going into a battle with history and legacy and so much surrounding it. It's going to be there. Then obviously, like you said, it's funny the way in which things move around, because on one side, yeah, it looked like Conor had everything his way as the week progressed, and when it got to the day, the moment where it all matters, Chris Jr. shows up on weight, on time, even wearing a Louis Vuitton jacket, whilst doing his weigh in, beats it and does it completely. You got him with his dad. Then you also have Billy Joe Saunders not getting into the changing room. Like, there's so many factors that went into it, and we haven't even spoken about the fight itself. And in fact, let's even do that. Let's start talking about the fight, because I'm sure people might be wondering at this stage, like, guys, let's talk about what happened. Genuinely, for me, obviously, I think it goes without saying, fight of the year so far, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, for me, it would be fight of the year to the end of the year, but I think fight of the year at the end of the year is going to end up turning into Canelo Crawford when that gets made and when that happens. But as of yet, I genuinely think this is the fight of the year. It was explosive from round one. There was no caginess at any stage during the fight. Conor came out of the blocks with his ferocious nature. But one thing that I saw from Chris Eubank Jr. is the moment they got into the ring, he looked big. He looked strong. He looked well hydrated. And that weakness that he showed against Zaramata, that weakness that he showed during that fight, the fragility that I saw during that fight didn't exist. I didn't see it at all at any stage during this fight. He was live. He was live. He was active. He was in there. His jab was very, very sharp. But Conor Benn, like I said, ferocious. I say, listen, that's what Conor Benn, I call him Mr. Squat Game, because his ability to get low and move his head is crazy. Nah. Trust me. If somebody has a signature move, that is Conor Benn's signature move. He moves
Real
like
Mike
like a
Tyson-esque, innit?
I don't know if you say like a fly or like a wasp. Man gets low and just it's crazy. Like this girl is nuts. So it's so good. It's so good. It was so good to see. It
Yeah.
was so good to see these two warriors clash, these two legacies come together. But unfortunately for Conor Benn, that his size for me just wasn't enough. His size for
Mm.
me wasn't enough to really impact and put some steel behind his punches. Yes, he did hurt Chris Eubank maybe once or twice in there, but he didn't have what it takes to finish. Maybe that's down to ring rust. Maybe that's down to not fighting at this level. Maybe it's down to being at the wrong way. How did you
Mm.
perceive the fight, and how did you see it go?
You know what? It actually went, which is crazy because my predictions are shocking sometimes. But it went the way I said it would go. To be fair, and I'm quite surprised at myself. But bro, on the night it looked like it was a light heavy versus a middleweight, not middleweight versus middleweight. You can see the size was a problem for Conor Benn. Now, kudos to Conor Benn. One thing I respect about him, he tried every second. Like he didn't have a moment of I suppose realization I'm losing this fight or I'm out of this fight. And he tried from the first to the end. Like, so fair play. It was a really, really good performance from him as well. Look, however, I personally at the time scored it 8-9 rounds to Eubank, and a lot of people on TikTok were saying Conor Benn was robbed, and I'm just like, I can't see it. I really can't see it. I thought 160, 112 was very fair. I actually gave it 9 rounds, but obviously that was the time of the fight. I need to watch it one more time. I was watching, I think up until like 9 rounds before this. So, and I pretty much had the same way it was going like I did in the first place. And look, you had a few swing rounds. The first round was a swinging round. Like, I can understand if you gave it to Conor Benn, or maybe even round 5 was a swing round as well. But it went pretty much the way I felt it would have went. The jab, the uppercuts by Eubank as well. The left uppercut as well, like almost manipulating with a jab hook type of thing and switching to uppercut a few times. That was beautiful. The shot selection, the size, just the sheer size, backing Conor Benn up. I did get worried about Eubank's endurance, like you talking about the Zerameta fight, where there was a time where Eubank's legs went and they both fell on the canvas. I thought, oh wow, it's not looking good, like for Eubank's durability, I suppose. But after the first 3 rounds, I really thought Conor Benn was gonna stop him in the latter stages, the way especially the second and third was going. But Eubank turned it around. A part of me feels like Eubank is so clever that maybe he manipulated Conor Benn to thinking there was a false sense of confidence by letting the rounds, like by easing off the gas in the first 2-3 rounds. Now I know that might sound crazy, but to me, just the way he was performing after that was like, where did this come from? Or maybe Jonathan Banks just told him, look, like, it's not looking great from your side. You need to step up a bit, and he stepped up from there on onwards. But also, like, punch output by both fighters, especially Eubank, he was knackered, and that 12th round as well. I saw a young Eubank that day. Like, Eubank always used to be able to throw like 100 punches in a go. Like, it's just crazy with the speed. But he showed the old Eubank, and we were saying before we need to see an old Eubank, and we did, to be fair. And fair win on the night, in my opinion. I think it was I don't think it was close. I thought it was 160, 112 was a very fair scorecard. But how did you see the fight going?
Yeah, no. To be honest with you, I went with the scorecard as well. To be honest with you, I think it was quite even up to a point. I think 116, 112 gives it to Eubank. Was it 8 rounds to 4, which means he won the fight by two rounds basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very fair. I think your 9-3 scorecard is might be a touch wide, but not wide because it's only by 1 round off. But
Yeah.
I think Conor definitely. I would have given Conor more than 3 rounds. I think Conor could have been given a nod for the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And I think saying that he didn't win the round after that is a bit tight. But then, the first round could have gone either way. I don't think Junior was playing possum, but I think he was just understanding. He was using his experience to understand the way in which Conor is going to fight this fight, right? And sometimes that allows the opponent to get some success, and that's what we saw early on in the fight. But as soon as he hit round 4, Junior was like, I know exactly what's going on here. And that's where the fight changed. I think round 4 is where the fight started to change, where you saw Junior come into his stride. And to be honest with you, even at some stage within the round 12, I thought Junior might have finished him off, to be honest. But credit to Junior, credit to Conor as well. Conor ended up sending Junior to the hospital after the fight. Junior said to Conor that he didn't expect him to hit so hard, and the truth is, like I said, Conor's a hard hitter, but after a while, his ferociousness and his anger in the fight became, maybe made a lot of his shots quite telegraphed. I think the funniest thing for me during the fight was, I think during that fight was the most those two have ever spoken to each other. Like, I loved it. I loved it. I wish they were like mic'd up. I wish I could hear exactly what's going on, because them man was chatting. They were chatting in there, and Junior used his experience in the dark arts as well. He was active in there. He was punching after the ref said break. He had to get spoken to by the ref a couple of times. And to be honest with you, the crowd were annoyed because the ref was getting involved. Because people were thinking to themselves, "It's a classic fight going on here. I don't want to watch the replays of this fight in 10 years' time and see the ref involved in this. Ref, get the hell out of here." But the truth is because Junior was out here doing, dark arts. And that shows experience. He uses experience to annoy Conor Benn in there. He uses experience to lean on him, to punch him after the break. He was absolutely spectacular in there. It was good seeing that old Chris back, and I think that's the Chris that people will pay to watch the C fight. Pay more to watch the C fight. I wonder if they're going to go for the rematch immediately. We're going to do a separate video. People don't know that, Joe don't know this, but we're going to do a separate video about what we could see next, or what we'd hope to see next from both of these fighters, because I think there's still more to delve into from this, but this is just our initial thoughts surrounding the fight. But obviously, who are we? This is about you guys. So let us know in the comments below what you think about the fight, what your thoughts are on the fight as well. Joe, I'll give you the last final words before we wrap up and get the heck on out of here.
Just what a fight. What a fight. Exceed expectations. And fair play to Conor Benn. I felt sorry for him, but the man who won on the night was the right man who won. So, yeah. Let us know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Help us get up the sub count up. And until then, on the next video, bro.
Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. Well, guys, I've been David Lorca.
I've been Joe Ojala.
You've been watching The Squared Circle, and we'll see you again next time.